And some of us may be waking up to a little bit of frost on some of those cars this Friday morning. Looking at Frost Tracker, again, a lot of us kind of towing the line here. We wake up with some of these upper 30s. This is what it looked like here into Mexico as we were getting off and going this morning. Back down to 37 degrees. We stayed a little bit warmer back here into Colombia. We saw some low-level clouds work their way through, and that acted as a blanket, at least enough to keep us into those lower 40s. By 9 o'clock, back into the middle 40s, just about across the board. We're going to be tracking some of that cloud cover coming and going as we go throughout much of our Friday. Temperatures, though, going to be held up into the upper 50s and low 60s for another day. So, again, looks like more of the status quo for a lot of us across mid-Missouri. Looking at the Sports Zone football Friday, again, game of the week. We're heading across the street over to Hickman High School as the QPs host the Jays later on tonight. It's going to be another chilly one. You can imagine we're only starting in the 60s. We don't have far to go to get back into the low 50s by kickoff, upper 40s by halftime. So it's going to be a little on the cool side as we get into tonight. The one thing that's going to help us out is some cloud cover working its way back toward mid-Missouri. And as we get into about midnight or so, this is where we'll start feature track out again. Not nearly as chilly as what we're going to be getting off to for a start tomorrow morning. We're subbing out that chilly weather for some rain chances here into the early morning hours as we get into Saturday, especially by 6 o'clock. I think that's when a little bit more widespread, a little more meaningful rainfall is going to be working its way through mid-Missouri. And, of course, we'll be tracking that on ABC 17 News this morning starting at 6 o'clock tomorrow. By between about 6 and 9, I think that's when we could be looking at maybe more of that starting to overspread a good portion of mid-Missouri, especially along and south of I-70 on the latest run of Future Track. But the good news is, or at least one of the trends we've noticed this morning with some of that data coming in, is we're trying to kick some of these rain chances out of here as we get a little bit earlier into the afternoon hours on Saturday and may try to stay dry for the rest of the weekend. We may be tracking some more cloud cover, though, as we get through Sunday and then finally push some of that drier air back into mid-Missouri for the second half of that day on Sunday itself. Take a look at rain tracker. Again, nothing terribly impressive. About a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rainfall is about going to do it for a lot of us. Maybe some slightly isolated higher amounts in some of our southern counties. But going forward, big picture is what we're going to be tracking. Those upper level winds, that big trough that's been just to our north and east, that's been responsible for that cool air over the last couple of days. That's going to start to retreat as we get through this weekend, and that's going to lead to a warm-up as we start off that next work week. And it looks like that trough is going to try to reestablish itself back to the north and west of us. So we're going to be getting into some slightly warmer air as we get into the middle and even into the end of next week. It looks like things may even trend a little bit warmer than that as we get into Friday and Saturday. Again, that's of next week. That's a good 7 to 8 days out. So looking at that ABC 17 Storm Track 7-day forecast, again, aside from rain chances tomorrow, it's going to be staying fairly dry throughout much of the rest of that week here across mid-Missouri. You're going to be looking at temperatures, though, starting to warm back up Monday and Tuesday, back to the middle 70s as we get into the middle of next week. But I mentioned we'll be looking at 80 degrees by next weekend.